We did it! The first video is up. That means that the channel is running. That's extremely exciting. I took an hour this morning to finish the editing, to upload it, to make a thumbnail. I've got the podcast running, I've got the channel running. So what now? That is the question. The start may actually be the easiest thing, just because it's just starting everything up, but how do you keep it going? How do you keep it running? So now I need to figure out what my next step is going to be, and that might actually be now trying to interview someone for the podcast. I'm going to let this rest. I'm going to be very proud of myself and do uni work as always. Where do I go from here? What is the next step? Starting up is relatively easy, but now I need to think about what I want to do next, because everything is created. I mean the platforms. So what do I create now? Interviewing someone, as in creating a podcast with an expert. Do I start with an expert, even though my podcast skills are not maybe expert worthy? So do I start with friends who have interesting expertise? Do I start something else? Do I don't know. Like, do I focus on educating myself? And I just don't know what the right next step is. I think it is probably to seek out potential interviewees, like people who I can interview for podcast. But that's scary. Like, I find it really uncomfortable. And like I shared in the last video, I have emailed an economist. He has not responded yet, so it's been almost 3 weeks. So I might follow up on that. The past few months, it was relatively simple in the way of like, okay, it's just me setting up a channel and sort of get that going, or at least some place, you know. But now I need to provide the content of the channels. I don't want to procrastinate this. Send a follow-up email tomorrow. I'm gonna put that in my calendar. That's a good next step. I send the email, and now before I'm gonna do uni, I'm gonna quickly take a look at the Notion to-do list that I made in the first episode, and I'm gonna take away all the stuff that I've done and start a new one for episode 2. I'm wondering, what is it exactly that I'm committing to? Like, what am I actually doing? Like, what am I working towards? I'm not sure. Do I want the podcast? Do I really want to have this project, or like platforms that I have now, to be just interviewing people and gaining knowledge and spreading knowledge that way? I'm not sure why I'm in doubt. Maybe because it's unclear. But I sent that email today. I probably should send a few others, and then I would think of a structure of how I want to make that like a clear step-by-step thing, so I don't have to think this much. I should probably make an action list, maybe interviewing people. I don't know what else I could be doing. Do I also start making other videos? And then, if so, about what? Can I make videos about consumerism? Like, I know I have a lot to say, but what is it exactly that I have to say, and what would I share? I think if I do continue, maybe I can do both. Well, I can do both, but do I have time for podcasting and actually having guests on? Then when would I interview people? Like, I'm a busy person. Like, the whole setup I've done just in between small bits, step by step. But if I'm interviewing people, then maybe that is not possible. Or I'm free on Monday. I could schedule the interviews on Monday, and then step by step editing and processing. I mean, I also don't have to have interviews every single week, right? I could also have it every month. One interview and maybe another project, like another video. I don't want to restrict myself to now just doing interviews or having conversations. So if I do once a month and I have, you'd think, enough space to also come up with other stuff and think of other ways to create a organization. The thing is, it would be really cool if I could move this into an organization, but I don't feel like I have a clear enough purpose or cause, other than still this vague idea of consumer society and that I want to change that the structure should be different. Just thinking about this right now, taking the time to not know what I want to do, it's given peace of mind. But the couple days, the last 3 days maybe even, just been a little bit like, oh, what do I do now? I'm not sure what the next step is, other than maybe emailing people to interview, but like a vision. I was lacking a vision, but I think this structure is giving me a vision, or at least a sort of next step. Yeah. Good morning. I was just out here in the kitchen eating breakfast and I had an idea. What if I create some sort of physical event where we talk about different ways of how we try to be more conscious in our consumerism and how we try to contribute to sort of the cause? Because I realize that what I find really interesting is what we as individuals can do more in our day-to-day life, how we can make this transformation. Because I think, yes, we need companies to change, yes, we need government to change, we need structures to change. At the same time, the structures in ourselves about what we believe and our habits also need to change, because otherwise these external structures won't work, because it's these ideas that now run society also run within us. So I might actually want to go into that, or at least partially. And how cool would it be if people just come together, we sit in a circle, we're having some food, and we're going to talk about that. I'm also part of Rethinking Economics, right? And when I'm organizing events next to events for Rethinking Economics, like, wouldn't it be more logical to merge? At the same time, it's a different organization. And then I was like, okay, shouldn't I just run this event for Rethinking Economics? But then, I want to build something for myself as well, but Rethinking Economics has a network. So I don't know, like in my mind, these lines sort of blur, and it's not really meant to, like, these are two different projects. And I don't know whether I can blur those lines because it's someone else's, it's not my organization, so I cannot organize an event through the, in Rethinking Economics, naming it my thing, not it being Rethinking Economics. And I don't know, I was thinking about that. But yeah, I think this is a cool idea. I really like that idea, because then I have something physical, I have something educational, and then I have the process on YouTube. So that's cool. I'm gonna write this down, I think. Yesterday I had a really good conversation about what to do next, and I asked them, okay, I'm a little bit stuck, I'm staying in the cycles. So that was really helpful. We had a lovely conversation out in the garden, we took the time, and I'm back on track. I have a clear plan, and so this is basically the summary from the conversation I had with my parents, and based on this I made a planner for the in-person event that I'm excited about. So we're back on track, we've got a clear to-do list, and I will add that now to my general to-do list so I can plan in. And then the next 2 steps are going to be: 1, plan an in-person event, Two, get in contact with experts on what actually good next steps are when regarding to behavioral change. I'm just outside on a walk, and my mind was a bit in a scramble for the past week, and I'm tired, and I don't know what to do next, and it feels all just frightening and unclear and what to do basically, which makes me feel passive and unmotivated, procrastinating, and lacking the flow that I so desperately want. So I'm just on a walk right now, trying to reflect and coming up with things to talk about with my coach. And I just made a list of things. Okay, what have I achieved in the past few weeks? What have I done? And there's actually quite a lot. And I've gained a lot more clarity on what I want. And I can't expect myself to just know it like that. Because I have taken lots of steps in the right direction. In taking action, but also mentally in formulating what it is that I want to do and what I'm interested in. That is all forming, and it's still in the process of forming, and that is uncomfortable because that does not give me a clear step-to-step guide what I need to do. And this morning I planned, sort of put in my planner the steps that I need to take to organize a social event, and then I was like, well, do I want that? Is that the next step that I need to take? Because I don't even know what the goal of the event is, and then this is going to be a one-time event without it having a clear purpose other than I want something in person. Whilst I feel like if you have a specific goal that you want to achieve with that social event, that makes a lot more sense also for the people signing up, so that it's not a one-off thing that is a bit random. So yeah, that's where my mind is at. But just standing here in nature, well, this little bit of green nature that there is with all the surrounding cars and buildings, it's really nice. It's truly so calming. I love having the sun and animals like the geese and water, a tree. Trees in plain sight, like having trees in your eyesight, has been proven to increase happiness. Well, I can feel it right now. Look at that. So I'm trying to stay in the moment, not get too caught up in my mind, and focus on the here and now. And that even though I'm busy, this very moment I am not hustling in a hustle mode. I'm walking outside. I'm not busy literally right now. I'm in nature. Yes, I have a long day ahead of me, but that's not right now. So I'm just here enjoying. Hi, it's been almost 3 weeks, I think, yeah. And I'm here for the update. It's going in a completely different direction. Not really, but kind of. The last 3 weeks I've been struggling with what do I do, what is exactly what I want to do. It just didn't feel right, my plan. I am still really excited about this idea, like I don't want to let it go. So then what exactly is it that I want to bring into the world? What is it what I want to say? What is it that I want to do? Because I don't want to just struggle and feel like I have to do certain things because they work, or it is interesting but it doesn't really give me energy. So what is it that I want to do? What is it that I want to do? So I cancelled my idea of the event because I did not have a clear enough purpose for doing that other than it just being interesting. The next action that I took was starting to fill out a sort of statement or working out my values, like a elevator pitch type of thing to figure out and get clear on what is it exactly that I want, what I want to say, as a guideline and foundation, and I can work from there. That's why I started. I have not finished it yet, but it helped me with going in certain directions. And right now and then I decided, all right, I want to focus on just the tools. So later on I could grow it into maybe a toolbox, something like I don't know. But I'm gonna focus on what can people practically do. I want to focus on the practical aspect so that transformation is more accessible. Something like that, I don't know. But it still didn't really motivate me to get off the ground. And then I'm like, oh, and then how? What do I do? What tools do I give people? Like I don't know. Do I make videos about that? Do I make a podcast about that? Do I do research, extensive research, first? Like, but now I decided a few days ago that, you know what? I'm just gonna take you with me with my process and just film what I'm already doing. And because I'm already doing quite a bit, I was like, okay, when I pursue this, then this feels like the only thing that is actively working towards my future, but that's not true. Like, uni, I am learning lots of stuff that is relevant. I'm gonna learn economics, so I could take you along with that. I am active in rethinking economics. I'm running the book club. I'm going to events, so I can just also vlog that. Like, I'm just enhancing what I'm already doing. And I think that's a better course of action for me right now, because then I can focus on what I'm doing and from there improve and grow more, and documenting that process. Like, along the way, I will be able to share my findings, and I might do some videos on certain things that I learned. So yeah, I'm just gonna do what I'm already doing. And from there we'll see.
And the point about the part of a new paradigm, this is not just about economics. The shift I'm talking about is the shift from mechanistic thinking, reductionist thinking, that is governing our thinking in the entire, since the beginning of the scientific revolution.
There was another study that was done a bit more recently about rebound effects. I said we'd come back to rebound effects caused by AI, both at work and this brings me to a very interesting paradox that was actually coined in the late 19th century called Jevons paradox. And Jevons was an economist, and he observed this with coal. And essentially he found that Jevons paradox said to occur when technological progress increases the efficiency with which a resource is used, so we could generate more energy for the same amount of coal, but the falling cost of this use induces increases in demand enough that the resource use overall is increased and not decreased. So essentially we've gotten better at using coal, so we can go further, generate more energy with the same amount of coal, but we actually end up using more coal overall because we're using it in more and more things and using it to power a whole industrial revolution. And the final slightly negative thing I want to talk about is economic impacts, because a lot of the promises of AI are with regards to our economy and jobs and this new revolution that's coming. It seems like the whole of economy is around this like topic of AI, this like general revolutionary concept. When you look at it more closely, it's actually a very small set of companies that are all investing in each other. I'm not going to go into all the arrows, but essentially, it's a lot of you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours situation, and with NVIDIA front and center. But essentially, it's a very concentrated set of companies that are kind of bringing this all together. It's not very diverse. How can we use our collective, care and concern about the environment to push back and to demand more transparency and reduction on a societal level? It's hopefully something that you'll take away today, that it's not AI isn't magic, it's not ephemeral, it's not this mythical cloud. It actually has a very physical component, and this physical component has impacts on our environments, and the way that in which it's used has impact on our societies and our economies. So it is very tangible. And something that irks me a lot about the discourse on AI nowadays is like, oh, well, it's too late. Well, the genie is out of the bottle, the toothpaste is out of the tube, it's too late, it's happening, embrace it, use ChatGPT to generate your recipes and, bedtime stories for your kids, like, let's move on. I disagree with that fundamentally. I don't think anything is a done deal, and there are definitely ways of shoving toothpaste back in a tube, by the way. So I do think that there are things that we can do, some of which I've talked about today, and I know that not everyone is an AI developer, but a lot of us, most of us at this point, are AI users, and as users, we can definitely contribute by like making these small gestures and thinking about the way in which we engage with AI. And something that I think about a lot when I think about sustainability is this definition of sustainability that kind of got forgotten over the years, unless you really work in the field, that something isn't sustainable just because it's like environmentally friendly. Something is not sustainable just because it's like, equitable, just because it's from a social perspective, and it's not sustainable just because it's economically viable. That it's really this intersection of these three pillars of sustainability that makes something truly sustainable. How can we find ways of using AI or types of AI to use that cover all three of these pillars and think about it a little bit more holistically? So,
question from online. Climate taught us that awareness alone doesn't drive action. Narrative on solutions might. What would shift in the AI narrative away from LLMs take storytelling?
Yeah, there's this intention action gap that's been observed in a lot of things, including sustainability. So it's like a lot of people care about the planet, and then when it comes to like giving up meat, they're like, well, actually no. So when as an example, other things as well. I think with AI, yeah, we do need to be shifting the focus, and I think that it has to be happening on individual levels. So for example, using an alternative for like the easier web queries that you do, and like on an organizational level by for example building paying a local company. There still are AI companies that are not the big tech companies and that they do really cool work, and especially it's like, well, you're building a tool for your employees to search company documents and get answers. Sure, you can get a Copilot subscription. You could also pay like a company to develop the tool. Not only is it going to be running locally, but like it's going to be less chance of hallucinations. It's going to be like you're going to know exactly how it runs, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that there are like success stories, but we have to kind of go get them. Whereas nowadays we're still at the stage of it's like, oh, this is this shiny cool tool that's going to solve all of our problems, and we have to kind of like, I think that like the ChatGPT moment has peaked, and now we can like move on to, okay, can we use it in ways that merit the use?